So, a while ago, I saw this video by Honcho, and it was called Ranking Most of the Sonic Openings. I did like the video, but there was just so much stuff that I did not agree with in there. So today, I'm going to make my own ranking of all the openings. Keep in mind that this is probably going to be my most controversial ranking yet. Yes, even more than my ancient Sonic soundtrack rankings. Anyway, let's just get into it. Here's the tier list. As you can see, we've got tiers S, A, B, C, D, and a lot in not ranking. Yeah, I don't know why they had every single spin-off game here, but I didn't make the tier list. Anyway, starting off we have Sonic CD. And I think you already know where this is going. This is an absolute S tier. Sonic CD's cartoon opening. I've loved this since I first discovered Sonic. This opening is just incredible. And the song that plays in the background is just amazing on both versions of the game. But which one do I prefer more? Sonic Boom or You Can Do Anything? This is something I didn't agree with on Honcho's video. He said he slightly preferred You Can Do Anything. I think that's completely wrong and Sonic Boom is way better. But anyway, let's move on to the next game. Our next game though is Sonic 3D Blast for the Genesis, D tier. This might be one of the worst openings I've ever seen, and it's also in a trash game. But it's just awful. And I think the reason this is awful is mainly because it's on a Genesis and this could barely run it. But also, the animation is just so bland and boring. Which is also a problem with the next version of this game. The Saturn version. The Saturn version is definitely better, don't get me wrong, but it definitely still has that stiff animation problem. Nothing like that Sonic CD intro. I think I'm gonna put this one in C tier. It's nowhere near as garbage as the Genesis version, but still pretty bad. Now we have our first real loved Sonic opening, and that is Sonic Adventure. Now, I know people are obsessed with this opening, and I think you're expecting me to put this in S tier, but while I do like it, it's just, I'm not really sure what was going on when they made this, and it could have been so much better. I like the bit at the beginning where everyone dies when they have all the water going through the buildings and perfect chaos arises, but they only play Open Your Heart at the very end, and they barely show Sonic throughout the whole thing. I think if they made him go super, teasing the end of the game, that would be awesome. Anyway, I think this intro is still an A tier. It's not quite as good as S tier, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying that. But anyway, moving on to our next game. Our next game is Sonic Advance. And while this may be controversial, this is an absolute S tier. In fact, I'm going to say this is better than the Sonic CD intro. And you're wondering, how can this dude love this intro so much? Well, I just love the character intros, the music that plays in the background. In fact, that music is the music from my channel intro. So yeah, I think you can definitely tell why I love this intro so much. The only thing I wish it had was the characters actually doing something there, instead of just standing there looking cool. Anyway, yeah, Our next intro is the Sonic Adventure 2 intro. And this is honestly another S tier. Not quite as good as these two, but I'll explain why. In Honcho's video, he said he wasn't a huge fan of this intro because it wasn't CGI and had the ugly looking character models. I actually prefer that over having the CGI because the CGI wasn't actually that great back then. And I love the character models from SA2. It's also my favourite Sonic game of all time, so I'm a bit biased, but still. I love the different version of Live and Learn it plays, the introduction to all the characters is amazing, and, of course, the iconic animation of Sonic and Shadow crossing the moon, that even made it into the Sonic 3 movie. Anyway, yeah, another S tier. Next up, we have Sonic Heroes, which is... This animation is honestly just really not that good at all. It's better than the 3D Blast and Sonic Advance 2 animations, but I just do not like this. I think it's because of the ugly CGI, like I mentioned before. I just don't know what was going on when making this. No. This was just made way too early. And while I probably would have preferred it if it used the game models, I don't really like the game models in this game anyway. So yeah, this was kind of doomed from the start. Sorry, Sonic Heroes. And we then have Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't care what anyone says, this is a definite S tier. I know we've had a lot of those today, but all these openings are just incredible. The only thing that holds this intro back is the music. And he freaking shoots Sonic at the end of the intro and then just dives into the camera. It's so cool. So yeah, another S tier. It would be even further up S tier. Up, we have another hot take of mine. Sonic 06. And I absolutely love this intro animation. S tier. Honcho's video dragged this intro down because he said it was too good for the game it was in. I find that to be absolutely ridiculous. And I really have no idea what he was saying on this video. Honcho, if you see this, I don't hate you, I just don't like your rating. I love the intro. The CGI is way better than Sonic Heroes, even though these games only released 3 years apart. And the water looks absolutely amazing. Sonic bashing the robots is so cool. And even Princess Elise in this is pretty cool. Not the actual game, the intro, don't worry about that. Yeah, I think this is definitely S tier. Sorry all you Sonic 06 haters out there, if those even exist anymore. Next up we have the fan favourite animation, Sonic Unleashed intro. And I know you're expecting me to put this at the top of S tier, and I'm not going to do that though. Instead, I'm going to put it underneath Sonic 06. I'm briefly going to explain why. It's much more of an opening cutscene than it is of an intro. And the animation is absolutely beautiful. It's even more beautiful than Sonic 06's intro. And the part where he turns into Super Sonic and then the Werehog, it's awesome, but it's not really an opening to the game. So yeah, while I am definitely putting this in S tier, I don't think it's the best intro of all time, simply because it's way more of an opening cutscene. Next up we have Sonic Colors intro. I think this one deserves a fair A tier, and I'll explain why. I like the music it uses, although I'm not a huge fan of it. I think the animation is really well done. And I like how he uses all the wisp powers and stuff like that. I like Eggman, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But it doesn't exactly have that edgy, cool factor that the other Sonic Adventure games and earlier games did. So yeah, while I still like it, it's not my favourite intro of all time. Now we have the Sonic Generations intro. I'm about to put this right above Saturn 3D Blast in C tier. And I'm sure you're wondering why. That's because this intro had so much potential to be one of the greatest. The CGI was far advanced by this point, and this whole game's gimmick was about bringing back older Sonic levels. But instead of seeing them run through the old Sonic levels, we see them run through a completely blank white space and through, I guess, some small hills from Green Hill. It's so boring, and they had so much potential to put stuff in this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I love this game, but the intro is just not it. And now we have another fan favorite intro, which is Sonic Mania. And to me, unfortunately, it's a bit like the Sonic Generations intro. Not as bad, just because I love the cartoon animation. In fact, I'm gonna put this in A tier. But it kind of suffers from the same problem the Sonic Generations intro has. They're not really running through all the levels in the game. Well, I mean, they sort of are. Like Studiopolis. But it's just a bunch of zigzaggy lines in a completely blank space. Tails and Knuckles are here this time, which is pretty cool. And I adore the music that they use, but yeah, it could be so much better. This would be an absolute S tier if they just ran through all the levels in the game. I don't know why this is such a hard thing to do. Now we have Sonic Origins, which, you guessed it, is another S tier. Yeah, barely any people talk about this, but I love the music that goes into this. They actually run through the at least one level for each game, and the cartoon animation is awesome. It's just the best thing ever. I love how all the characters jump out of the title screen, and then we see them all together at the very end. It's just so cool. Absolute S tier. And now we have our last intro for the day, which is the Sonic Superstars intro. And I'm honestly about to put this one at the very top of S tier. Look, the game, I really like it. It's not incredible or anything, but I do think it's a pretty good game. But the intro, oh man. The only problem with this is that it cuts off at the very end, and we don't get to see Sonic and friends beating up all the robots. But it's so cool, the animation, the way Sonic jumps on Tails' plane in the first part, him saving all the animals, it's just beautiful. So yeah, here's my tier list of all the Sonic openings. So yeah, that was my Sonic intro animations tier list. I really like most of them, but it's also weird because there wasn't really any B tiers. Anyway, now that I'm done with this, what else can I really rank in the Sonic series? I'm actually happy to just take your suggestions. I'll be doing a post on this, so you can comment whatever you think I should rank next. And I'll pick my favorite idea, and I'll put that commenter in the video and fully credit them on it. Anyway, I'm also trying to reach 500 subscribers so I can start making some money on YouTube. So please consider subscribing if you like my content. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Bye, guys!